Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to start your own show? Look no further than Zambia Blog Talk Radio TV's unbeatable hosting packages. We have hosting packages for all your live streaming needs. Introducing our basic, standard, and premium plans designed to fit your show's unique needs. With our basic plan, you get hosting and streaming only to Zambia Blog Talk Radio TV platforms, technical support, and a full hour of captivating content. Choose our standard plan, and you'll not only enjoy everything in the basic plan, but also receive promotions on our Facebook page and the freedom to stream to your personal platform, Facebook or YouTube. Your show, your choice. And for those who demand the best, our premium plan offers all the benefits of the basic and standard plans, plus the ability to multi-stream to your preferred platforms. That's right, the spotlight's on you. But wait, there's more. Are you planning an unforgettable event? Our events package is your ticket to flawless live streaming. From weddings to conferences, we make every moment count. Ready to shine on Zambia Blog Talk Radio TV. Reach out to us today at zbtr2009@gmail.com for questions, inquiries, or to create a custom one-time show package. Remember, at Zambia Blog Talk Radio TV, your success is our mission. All fees are subject to periodic review and change, ensuring you always get the best value. So, what are you waiting for? Let's make your show a sensation only on Zambia Blog Talk Radio TV. Zambia Blog Talk Radio TV, where vision comes to life. Follow our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Zambia Blog Radio or visit our website at www.zbtr2009.wixsite.com/ZBTR-TV. Don't miss this opportunity to shine on ZBTR TV, where your vision comes to life.
Hello, hello, hello. What do we say? Happy holidays, compliments of the season. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I do hope that you had a great Christmas with your family and friends. And today is our last show. This is one of my favorite times of the year when we do this last show, because we can talk about anything and everything. And it has been a great year, I would say that for me. I want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments how your year has been. So today we're going to do a year in review. And I have brought with me some of the powerful people that I have in my circles. Mrs. Chirwa. Mulezeka.
Good morning. You said powerful. I was like, who is it?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. As far as I'm concerned, you are powerful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Blog Talk Radio. I am very excited and honored to be at the end of the show, year in review, everything. So thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to hear what you have to say. And then we are going to, I call him Vashinganga Vesu. I don't know why the word Dr. Mbeba means Shinganga. Can you explain that to me, please? Welcome, Dr. Musoma.
Thank you so much, Nathan. It's great to be here. It's great to join you and the rest of the panel that we'll have today. But
maybe let's ask my wife from Loapula, Matilda. It's year-end show, so we no script, no nothing. We're just going to flow. Matilda, welcome.
Thank you. But I want to address the Shinganga thing.
Okay.
As a representative of the Luapula people, Inganga Inganga would be a person who knew, who was like a doctor. They treated ailments. They were kind of a person who would give you some type of advice and help you to think positively, and do what Indoshi did. So the Inganga is a doctor, and they're usually supposed to have solutions. Sometimes it's herbal. Most of the times it's supposed to be herbal and nothing that should harm you. And but with the
I know.
Amano yakulu apula. So justify bushing and all that stuff.
Nathan, be careful.
I love my people. You know what, Dr. Musoma? I love my people. I say my people because my mother is from Mporokoso, so I love my people. I just flow. All right, everybody, welcome. And it's 2023 year in review, personal perspectives. So when we say personal perspectives, Priska is going to give us her perspective of the year. Dr. Musoma will give us his perspective of the year, and Matilda will do the same. Would like to hear from you as well watching. Give us your perspective of the year about anything. No restrictions. It can be anything, okay? Matilda, happy anniversary, 22nd anniversary to you and Rodney. And
happy anniversary.
22 years, Tepa, no?
Yeah.
And we applaud you. And I know Rodney has done most of the work, and you've just been tagging along.
Okay.
Let's begin. I'll be one of the things I shouldn't forget to say this. One of the best things that happened to this show this year is God blessing us with, I'm calling her our family therapist. ZBT are a family therapist. Mutinta Tembo. I mean, I think we all need to agree that Mutinta has come as a blessing to this community, as a blessing to this family. So because of what Mutinta has taught us to face our issues and not to be in denial, we are not going to be afraid to start on the note on which I want us to start off, okay? Because we are not afraid. We're not going to be, I'm not trying to create a gloomy picture. I just want us to be like, I like Dr. Musoma's hashtag Kukakulwa, you know? I want us to be liberated from the get-go. By the way, our flyer shows that I was supposed to have 4 guests. All of us know Mwansa is part of the ZBTR team. She's a presenter and producer of Tell Your Truth. Mwansa has got a bereavement in the family. And with Mwansa, we send our love, our prayers, and our condolences to you. So, Dr. Musoma, you just came back from home, Zambia, and you visited with Mom. How is she doing?
She's doing better than I expected. Okay. You know, I was, you know, she gave me hope. You know, and so in visiting with her, as we sorted through my father's estate, you know, so Priska and Matilda, I read through every single piece of paper my father left. Wow. And I looked, you know, just looking for just story connection. And so I won't forget my favorite moment with my mother was we were in my father's office. Then Nathan, I found that my dad had a lot of church type things, you know, church liturgy from Catholic, you know, a lot of stuff. Then I looked at my mom and said, Mommy, I think my dad better folk about preach day.
Why?
It was a lot. It was a lot, you know. And then I looked at Mom and said, I think the mom didn't get it. And that was, I think, we don't have a mommy. It was just like, you know.
That's funny.
So I think for me, defining the year, since I'm not, you know, that's where we're heading in this conversation later on. I think it's your place of pain can become your place of power and also pleasure.
Your place of pain can become your place of power
and pleasure.
Yes, and pleasure. So we found laughter in a very dicey moment. My mom just sick, So anyway, so thanks for asking. She's better than I thought. Much better than I thought.
You want to talk about, in view of this, one of the things that we addressed in our conversation with Mutinta is what I called the firsts. Okay, the first of. So this is your first Christmas without Dad. That's where we're going to. So how was this first Christmas without Dad?
Mixed. The reason why I'm using this cup today to drink from, it's a gift that I received from my son. My youngest son is 8, and it says, "My dad's a blast." And then, sorry, I'm reaching out here. I'm gonna read you the card that came with this.
Oh.
It said, "Merry Christmas to Dad from Judah." And you look at this. It's just pencil and paper. No, not fancy. He said, "Dear Dad, I wish you a Merry Christmas, filled with love, joy, and happiness and hope. You have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas. Love, Judah." When I got this gift, I wept, and it was for a lot of reasons. I wept at the goodness of my son's heart, the kindness, but I also wept thinking back to my father and the relationship I had with him. Where there was a lot of exchange of not just discipline, but also just delightful moments of gift exchanging, wisdom. So Christmas without my dad is bittersweet. You know why? Because part of me thinks that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, I drew from this space of thinking, man, but that's why I thought Chidisha. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Or so I think between my father and I, there was such a great exchange. I lost a friend, not a father. And so, when you have friendship, the acts that happen between friendships don't die with persons. I think a lot of us maybe the pain might be greater if all that you lose is a father or a mother, because all you lose is provision, not connection. But connection, so then you but then you find and that's how I think for me this Christmas has been. So bittersweet, happy and sad, but overall my spirit is celebrating, because that's what I think my father would want. It's
yeah. You're speaking Mutinta's language. Priska, talk about your Christmas. I mean, I want us to reflect on, the people that we miss.
And one of the things, when you said, like Dr. Msoma said, that's where we're going year in, for me, it's gratitude. And this Christmas, I decided to just not go overboard, just be quiet. I didn't bother with rushing, buying gifts, doing the Christmas tree. I just wanted it to be quiet. And we take things for granted. We didn't need anything. Everything we have, everything we would want, I want another purse, I want perfume, I want this, I have. So I just wanted it to just be a moment. Everybody was quiet. We didn't have a tree. We just cooked and we had dinner. I think later in the evening, we only got like 1 or 2 things for the kids. And my husband presented to them and we were all happy. Unlike last year, we're so stressed going to the mall doing this, things that don't even matter. And that for me, it was a lot of humility, humbleness to say, we have everything that we need. But a lot of things that we take for granted is spending time with family, love, and just
That's true.
And just quietness.
Matilda?
So So for me, just to conclude the year, I'll say it was strong. But for Christmas was quiet as well. Leading, I think, November into December, I told my family, Vane Nshkwete.
Yeah.
I don't have Ipekanyeni, yellow January days. I think about January. But you know, when Christmas came, nobody was expecting anything because I said, what Nshkwete? They all received something unexpected from me. They were not even sure, you know, my family in Zambia. You know, even relatives I've never sent anything to, and it humbled me also. I'm like, you know, all this time, anything, it surprised me. It was a good surprise for them, and it just feels good. You know, that verse that says it's more blessing to give than to receive.
Yeah.
I felt that. I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah. And I just to get this feeling, not a praise, but just like it feels good to give someone. And so my family was unexpectedly blessed by this. I really didn't have, that's true, and I meant it, I didn't have. I was also unexpectedly blessed, and I shared what I had. We also didn't do a lot of fanfare. If anything, twale for kuliobwali na kapenta.
Nice.
And I thought I have kapenta, I have everything, but I didn't have the vegetables. And Christmas Eve, I said, you know what? I think I can buy, no, Christmas Day. I'm sure there's a shop somewhere, Uluchelo, I can go to and buy these vegetables. I was surprised. All the shops were closed.
Oh.
Nothing was open. So
Matilda, the only day Walmart is closed is on Christmas Day.
I know.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only day. And what I do, I like driving by and just take a picture of an empty parking lot at Walmart.
Right. So yeah, I found some vegetables, dry vegetables, and we had a complete Zambian meal for Christmas. My husband kept telling my in-laws when they asked, what are you having? We're having some capentas. And then they would ask, what is that? Yeah, capentas, like little fish. And you just leave it at that. And you leave them minded and say, what is that? And he just wouldn't explain. But it was
I was about to say, why were you looking for vegetables? I thought you had a garden. Then I remembered that you just moved, right?
We've just moved. And
so Marisha Omusalu Kurieko Mufumine.
I'm so afraid of using my backyard. The front of our house is a farm. It doesn't belong to us. It's a commercial farm. They grow sugarcane, and they just harvested and they're growing something else. And people say where there's sugarcane, there's snakes. So
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. A lot of snakes.
So
oh my goodness. So let me share with you. Go ahead.
To the doctor about the first. You know, I lost mom 2 years ago, and there's that first of the realization tabaliko. But it's been a couple years. There's another depth of a first that you will experience later. Like, I don't know how to put it in words. You know, it's like, wow, this has really, really happened. You know, I don't even know. I'll find some words in psychology to understand.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
So for my, our Christmas, we were just at home, hanging out. We decided just to be home, have a meal, and typical of us guys, I wanted to watch sports the whole day. So the ladies were like, are we going to watch football the whole day? let's watch a movie. So we watched the movie. It was good. I enjoyed it actually. Nice choice, Natasha. And guess what? After the movie, I went back to.
That's how it was in our house.
Yeah. So my first, let me talk about my first. I lost my Uncle Patrick this year, my father's young brother. He, like Henry, you said that it wasn't just you losing your father, but you lost a friend. Uncle Patrick to me was like a big brother. You know those uncles who are like quite back, you know, talk and we had an amazing relationship. Now, here's the thing, but this is what I wanted to say. Every Christmas, we would get into that long conversation. We stayed on the phone for a long time. So, you know what I did on Christmas Day? I called his son.
Wow.
The only thing that didn't happen is I couldn't tell him what I wanted to say. Yeah. I struggled because I didn't know how it was going to affect him, how it was going to, I was going to receive it. It wasn't anything profound or spectacular. I just wanted to tell him and say, you know what, Uncle is not here. Him and I used to talk. So I called you instead. That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't say it. So that was my first. So that was Christmas. And amazing guy. Uncle Patrick was an amazing guy. And that's what it was. Okay. So tell us in the comments how your Christmas was and what you did. And now let's go into issues here. Year in 2023, year in review. Who's going to start first? Matilda, you want to go first? What, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I don't know how many issues you have.
Okay. I'll be brief. 2022 into 2023, I had to come in strong, mentally and emotionally, spiritually. You know, I had to tell myself it's going to be a good year. So 2022 into 2023, I was telling my family, this is a good year. 2023 is a good year. Why say I feel kunka, and they would bring them and I'll say, 2023 is a good year, you know? And they'll say, oh, this and this has happened. The cars are broken down. Kufam, this has happened, such and such. 2023 is a good year. Someone is sick. 2023 is a good year. But you know what happened along January, February, March? There's a lot that came in, like a flood. By April, May, I couldn't take it. I didn't realize it. This is a review. This is in hindsight. And also my health. I had some health issues and health scares that happened in May, June. So all that strength, I'm carrying everybody and saying 2023 is a good year. I started feeling the strain. You know, there's the pressure that I'm under, and people may not realize it, especially family and friends who were close to my mom. My mom was she was a dynamic woman. Everybody knows her. I mean, a lot of people know her. I can't say everybody. Those who know of her. And we share the same name. So there are certain things that they expect of me to do the way she did or used to do. And just, you know, mom is gone, put on these shoes and carry on, you know. And why are you not doing this? Why can't you do this? That's a lot. And then takwa by their loving, you know, it comes so forceful that you're like, I can do it. And I started feeling the strain and plus the health issues. So I would say 6 months, and it's not a January to June, it's not a July to December, but if you just move the scale a little bit, there's a 6 months that I don't know what was going on. And there's a blur in my life. someone will say, remember we talked about this. I'm like, things that I do, voluntary work. Some people who work with me closely, they knew, they were aware of what was going on. But in Africa Kumpela year 2023, I think I started strong and I'm ending it strong. You know, I've had to sit down. We've had some very long conversations with Priska where we just connected and just said we just need to talk, and for that moment we just let it out.
It's important. That's the, like I said, isn't that what Mutinta encouraged us to do?
Yeah.
To talk about. Now, I don't know what Dr. and Priska has to say about Matilda's point. You know, I think the point you make, Matilda, it's like you said you don't know what happened. You know, the situation where you lose somebody passes, somebody, you know, and then it's like you just go through the funeral process, like, you know, everything is normal, so to speak. And then just at some point along the way, weeks, days, months, it probably a year.
Yeah. Yes.
I've been through those moments.
And what you're saying is very true. And I'm so glad, Mutinta, you brought Mutinta on the show. I have to call her and book a session. You had addressed it on the other show, and I'll try not to go too much into it. That thing of, you hear the bad news, the sad news that you lost a loved one, and you start crying. That's the natural emotion, right? Cry, let it out. And I remember the day so vivid, you know, we broke the news, and I realized I had to release it. So I cried, I screamed out. I knew I need to let it out. That freaked everybody out. It freaked them out. And from that day, it was a mantra, Leko Kulila, Leko Kulila. Even when I'm crying silently, it's Leko Kulila. I feel like I was robbed of mourning my mother properly at the time that I should have. And so now when that thing hits me, I don't know these voices, I don't know who it is, the ancestors who are in my mind, you have to, you don't cry. You know, like, what's the point? But I feel like I haven't had that time, and I need to process it. I need to have that. Then it also feels, you know, I don't know. But I think I dealt with some of it in that 6-month layer when I had no idea of what was going on in the world, in Zambia, in America, in Shishibe. The only thing I know that happened was Mutengo Wama eggs went up in January. Eggs were almost $10. I had to start. Apparently, part of I need to eat a lot of protein.
Okay.
So, you know, like, I should have, the first thing, instead of having any kind of breakfast, I should have maybe 2 eggs, boiled, whatever, any kind of way. But I should have protein, and I need to have a lot of it. So, like, how do you use half an egg?
Can you even measure an egg? Maybe a boiled one.
Right.
Maybe a boiled one. Okay. What else do you have, Matilda? Is that it?
Actually, yeah, so it was...
Bring it on. Now, before you continue, we are going to do something that we've never done before here, okay? The tech team, we've worked out a system where people can call in, but we didn't think about doing that for this show. And then people like Nara is asking, and other people are asking how they can join the conversation. So what I'm going to do something I've never done before here.
Right.
I'm going to share the link. If you are able to join us, please come in. And I like Dr. Musoma's expression. Those who want to join, they can come in. Now, somebody needs to help me to put in the link in the chat room, in the comments.
Are they able to, can you put a link in the comments and people go to it? I thought that YouTube has a...
No.
Weird.
The link to join, to come on live here, to join us. Like
Well, let's copy and paste Munan.
Please put it in there if you can. Those who want to join us, you are free. Come on in. We want everybody to come.
I'm trying to think from the tech side because I'm in the studio with you, and it might interrupt my broadcast.
But no, don't do that. Derek, if you're able to help us, please do that. Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead, Matilda. I know
okay.
So
while I was in that 6 months of limbo, I'll call it that, I had to work on mental health issues. And I realized there's a lot to mental health. There's a lot. And I also learned to put myself first. There are, with me working in the community, and it's not just OZA, guys. I work with the African Leaders Council. I work with my Zambians in Florida Association. I have so many other little things. Well, I shouldn't call them little. So many other things that I'm involved in. And sometimes people can make you feel like we can't do this without you. Maybe it's a good and it's a bad thing. But the thing is, when you feel like I'm needed, it was stressing. It was taking a toll also on my health because I had some things that I needed to deal with. But I needed to put myself first. And I needed to learn to excuse myself and say, I'm not able to do this now. I need some time for me, Now, at the same time, when you say I need some time for me, it would look like everybody has heard you, and then they leave you alone. Then you're like, no, don't leave me alone. I need someone to talk to. And that's where Priska came in. She just had to be, I don't know. She came in as that person who everybody else, she didn't know. You didn't know what was going on. But at the time when we started talking, I needed someone to talk to, I have friends who I speak with.
And she's a good listener too. I'll tell you that.
She is.
She's a good listener too. I also do throw a lot of stuff at her.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do a lot of strengths from each other. But
that's good.
I had to learn a lot about mental health. I had to learn a lot about facing things that I've been running away from.
That thing of running away from. For me, my challenge is what's the word? I compartmentalize. Yeah, yes. That's what I do. Yeah.
So there was that. Face hard truths and finding self, finding myself. There's a new side. I think we become loss does something, you like all of us, those who've lost, you were a child, no matter how old you are a child, and then you lose your parents, and then now you have to be that grown up. You could be grown up and have children, even grandchildren, but when your parents go, it's like now you are the person who has to.
You never cease to be a child. I don't think you cease to be a child.
No, you don't. But the world expects you to do this. I trying to learn that adulting, and people say that adulting is a scam.
Yeah.
Kwangu says Priska is amazing.
Thank you, Kwangu. Love you, sis. Thank you.
All right. So our tech team. Good morning, Mavuka.
Vanessa.
Yes, my brother.
Was that is that Kwanguli where I was in? It's a go Zambia Shadow.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
By the way, now that you go that route, Dr. Musoma, Kwangu and Ponga, I'm going to do a special show with them in April. Stay tuned. Special. This is going to be a special one. That's all I'm going to tell you for now.
What a legacy.
She's amazing too.
It's a legacy. And you see, to this point, Dr. Musoma, on Kwangu, next week, I'm going to be talking to Jay Mwamba. He's written a book about I need to find the title and show it here. So this is what is going on. Kwangu. When I'm reading that book, I can hear Mr. Liwewe's voice in my head.
Wow.
And I'm saying to myself, this is amazing. I wanted to post this on Facebook, but I just left it alone. You need to read Jay Mwamba's book, everybody. He's going to be my guest here next week. So, okay. Now, Priska, you want to go? Or...
Yeah. Lord, I can relate to what Matilda said. For the first time in a long time, I did not do a vision boarding, and I'm emotional as I'm saying this. In 2023, I don't know what happened. I was just lost. So fast forward, just gratitude. Going back home after 2 decades, I realized that I was very lonely. I needed family. Like, I left Zambia when I was young. Moved to South Africa, then came here. And going back to Zambia, I don't know people. I was so frustrated. By day 4, I was calling my husband that I want to come back home.
Wow.
His response was, "You're home, just deal with it." My plan was to go to my mom's grave and my dad's. I didn't even get a chance to do that. While I was there, there's sense of entitlement from people and expecting so much from you. Instead of being embraced and said, "You've come home, welcome, let's do this," I found myself just giving. And this is not from everybody. I found that my friends embraced me more than what my family was supposed to do. I was almost having a nervous breakdown, and I was like, I need to get away. And I went to Cape Town. I still have my brother and my nieces. And when I went to Cape Town, I went to my brother's house, and my brother did not ask me for anything. He was just excited that I was there. So I learned a lot about myself that, like Matilda said, we talk to each other, and living in the diaspora, we're so lonely. We need love, and we need friends, and we need family. And it's so hard to find people that are genuinely in love with you, that are genuinely love you and want to embrace you. And you can go to them and say, "Look, I don't have $10," and they're not going to talk about you. They will say, "You don't have $10, I have $20. Let me share." So 2023 was a year of self-reflection, knowing myself, who I am. And I had to learn to pat myself on the shoulder and say, "You've done well." I realized that I'm a perfectionist. And because I'm a perfectionist, I cover up a lot of flaws, a lot of things that I'm like, if I don't do this, because I had an aunt that told me, "You won't be anything. You won't get married. You're not going to do this." And me, I work hard trying to prove her wrong. And I found that I was hurting myself doing that I need to love myself for who I am and be proud of myself for things that I've done. So with that, I came out stronger and said, "You know what? My name is Priska. This is who I am. I left when I was young. I've done what I've done. I've achieved what I've achieved. I have a beautiful family, an amazing husband, amazing kids, and love those surrounded by friends that love me, that I met along with the way that became family. And that's enough. The things that we chase, what's the next purse, the next shoes, the next this, those don't even matter. So 2023 was a year of reflection, a year of love, gratitude, and going into 2024, I'm going to go in stronger. And I'm a person that's always saying no, but I'm going to be firm with my no and say, no, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Good.
Yeah.
And the frustration being in Zambia, I hate the government system, the way people are so slow. They don't even care. You are literally paying for something that is rightfully yours. Me going to the to the government office and I need this, they want you to pay for it. I deserve to have a Zambian passport. I deserve to have a Zambian ID. I deserve to have this. But why am I for what? And people that are they don't even know what they're doing. I think they need to just reshuffle the whole damn system in the government.
I think Vantu people, I mean, not regardless of the administration in power, people have become needy and greedy in a very toxic way. Even when sometimes I'll say they don't need it, but they want it. Yeah. So they will want to take advantage of you. You are looking foreign, you are sounding foreign, and they're like, well, you term Zambian. I faced that when I started my dual citizen, you know. I don't know why I no longer look Zambian when I'm in Zambia. They always think I'm from another African country or something. So immediately Alandanda muchivemba nechinyanja, but I guess there's something that gives me away. Yeah. Some of us are from America. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Ra. Mutale says, Ronald says it's a working culture in Zambia that needs to change. That's true, Ronald, because you see, Priska and I had a conversation about this during the week, and to your point, Matilda, needy and greedy in a toxic way.
Right.
If you do a personal introspect and a reflection, like you have said, Priska, I'll use the analogy, the same analogy Dr. Musoma used after the Oza Independence Party in Chicago. The power and ability that the Zambian or any other person has. You see, we underestimate ourselves too much, and to Priska's point, where you are looking upon yourself, trying to prove your aunt that you are not what she said. Listen to me, people. We have the ability to change that work culture that Ronald is talking about. We have the ability. You just have to do an internal retrospect. I mentioned something about when it comes to things like passport, NRC, driver's license, and all those things that we need, that the government provides and we pay. It's everywhere. It's the same everywhere. But maybe what we need to do in Zambia is introduce a fee or a premium of expedited process.
There is. You still need to wash her.
You still wash her.
You still wash her.
You will be at the office 8 a.m. when they open. They don't see you. They go to lunch. They don't see you. They come back. Yeah. They get off. You still.
Oh, now I'll call fire from heaven now.
But another great thing that came out of it, us that live here in the diaspora, we are so blessed and lucky, and we should not underestimate what we can do to help.
Yes.
Back home, the people that are home, there are some that are good and some are greedy. $50 goes a long way. You can feed a family.
Yes, you can.
And I learned, I've always known that paying it forward, what I would do if there's a lady that came to do Zoe's here, I think it was $20. I gave her $50. She was so grateful, and the difference that I made in her life. So for me, there was a girl that wanted to write her exams. I gave her. So as we're here in the diaspora, there are people that are greedy and people that need us. Let's help them. Let's empower them. Let's help them also help other people to make a difference. It's $50 that we spend on McDonald's and we don't like the food, we throw it away. We can feed a family for dinner. Like Matilda said, when you give and when you make a difference in somebody's life that they're not even expecting, we should continue doing that. Us that live here in the diaspora, even if you adopt a family and just say, you know what, for 6 months I'll buy groceries for you, and let's make a difference. That's what I hope to do in 2024.
Amazing. That's amazing. Okay, let's take a break and we shall be coming back here to continue our conversation. We have posted the link if you want to join the conversation in the comments. You don't need to be on video. You can take away the video and just talk. I know you probably didn't comb your hair, and you need. I know the ladies, you need to do your makeup and everything else. You don't need to be on video. We can just do your voice, and we want to hear from everyone. All right. One of the things that has happened to our community is we have one of our community members who has developed an app, a system, which works, I'll put it in simple terms, which works like Ticketmaster. So Zambians, when we're doing events, you don't need to use Eventbrite anymore, Matilda. Let's support our own. Okay. All right. So get in touch with him. We'll try to put. It's working so beautifully. I've tested it, I've tried it. And the first event, the first people that are going to use this system is the diaspora Kuomboka people. All right. By the way, I expect to see all of you at the Kuomboka event in April. You know me, I don't ask. I just tell you, you need to show up. Yeah, you need to come. So the Kuomboka people are the first people to use that. I'll be talking about that more. And going into next year, like Priska said, some of the things should be doing. What this show, one of the things we're going to deliberately do and push a lot is Zambian entrepreneurship. If you are providing any service, you have a company, you provide anything that we can do, let's learn to support each other. Now, when I say let's learn to support each other, let's also move away from if you are free, okay?
Yeah.
When a friend is providing a service, let's pay for it and support that person. Because you see, what we don't realize is that if you empower a fellow Zambian, guess what's going to happen? They are going to empower somebody else back home. So let's do that. So when I say let's empower each other, I'm not trying to say we do if you are free. No, if you are free. Okay? Let's support Derek. Let's support Derek. He's developed an app for us to do it. Works like Eventbrite. Let's support Mutinta, our family therapist. When we say, please call her, make an appointment if you're dealing with issues, she will tell you how it works, how the services are. If you're free, let's change our mindset. Okay?
It's true.
It's not free. There's no such thing as free. If you're free fee, there's somebody paying for it somewhere. By now we know that after we've lived so long and we are in the diaspora and we are doing whatever we do, whether you're in Zambia, watching from Kenya, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Europe, everywhere, Australia, you know there's no such thing as free. Somebody has paid for it somewhere. Okay? All right, let's move on. Now I want to hear from Vashinganga Wesu. Let's talk.
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to Priska and Matilda for your vulnerability. You know, culture is to have a sign open to vulnerability. You know, and anytime you and I are vulnerable, we have the risk of being even attacked by others. But for me, the greater freedom comes from sharing from a courageous space. you know, and the courageous space. You
Yeah.
know, and that's, I think, how we find solutions. So my year is defined by three things: death, disease, and divorce. Um, you know, and so death, you know, the dying, my father passing away, disease, my father's illness. The year started off with Badadu Kulwala, 40 kilograms, whatever bedi, but they could have India and to cancer hospital. Now they shama doctors. I want to shout out to Dr. Mwava at the Cancer Disease Center in Lusaka. An amazing human being. You know what I'm saying? So there's goodness in us. You know, so Dr. Mwava at UTH, Cancer Disease Center, I salute you, man. So, you know, seeing my dad 40 kilograms, you know, having hope at the India, and you could still see him pushing, but then eventually, you know, he dies. You know? And then in the whole process of all this, what I've learned, like everybody here is saying, is I think I've learned to, number one, it's not about me. You know, I think our egos or whatever it is we've developed over time, as much as we say we don't like being dependent upon, we actually also feed on that same thing. It's not weird how we're so contradicting. You know what I mean? You know, if you're like, hey, but you look at it, hey, you know. So we're so contradicting, you know. So death, disease, you know, like, then divorce. You know, I haven't been divorced in the last 3 years, and I'd like to call this phase learning how to live with divorce, you know, and live honestly with it. You know, how you divide the children time with the children, like for me, I just celebrated Christmas with my kids last night, you know, which kind of sucks, you know, it really sucks, you know, when you're thinking on Christmas Day, work, you know, so how do I wrap up the year for me? I think I'm winning where it matters. You know?
Wow.
I'm winning where it matters.
That's very deep.
And that's why I start off by sharing the story about my son. You know, where it matters and they win. Of course, they do win emotions. Professionally, it's a little bit of I'll tell you, the traveling back and forth to Mexico and splitting life between the United States and Mexico, then my children, and them being in a divorce type situation is stressful. You know, it's a lot. It looks cool when you see people traveling, but the airport, you know, especially related to every other week, like I do. The big thing is for me, when I got to Zambia for my father's funeral, by Matilda, Nice Africa. So my father is from the royal family. So you know, so those instructions from Timokulu and different things like that. So in Nice Africa, the camp, but now about you know. So I got these conflicting stories. One of them was, the right spirit, you know, it's part of tradition. So when Matuda, Nathan, straight off the plane from me, I went in the room where these two women were. They had a room that was given to them. That's where they were fed in the house. So I went in the room. By Nathan, I didn't even think. I just looked at them and said, Dimwe, but I didn't even give them a chance to speak. I was in attack mode, you know, and was in this defense mode. But then when it came the day to bury my dad, they needed to do some kind of traditional things. And it goes back to that, Matilda, what you said at the beginning, they need to do some traditional things. And in that moment, I struggled, you know, so that by Nathan, you know how, especially for everything to do with being African Bullish, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I'm struggling. Quite a few I know that because of him being from a royal family. One night I mean I could have more Chinese one. I mean I know that, but they said, you will not get in here. This is my father. I'm so angry by Nathan. Then thank God in the moment, somehow I kind of cooled, leveled off and let them proceed. Then I realized that 2 weeks before my father died, his brother died. And he asked me to do the exact same thing that these people were doing for him. Because he was in the hospital. He said, you can make sure my definition. Then in that moment, I had to tell myself, this is about my father. And I didn't come to my own conclusion. Speaking to friends, who were like, Henry, you know? And in the moment I realized that was traditional. He loved. My father loved home, Priska. You know, when you said, when your husband told you, that's home. I think Zambians, we need to fall in love with home again. Yeah, we don't love home, if we're being honest. You know what I mean? We lip service home, you know? So, you know, my father, for him, home meant doing these things, you know? For some people, home means, you know what I'm saying? But once it was Bola Fiati, so for me, I'm coming home. You know, there's a T.S. Eliot quote by Nathan that says, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and to know the place for the first time." So, if you remember by Nathan, a couple of months ago, maybe years ago, I told you, they would actually have because on the day book. They wish, sorry. What did they have with him because they had got on and dead pie. Now, but that night, they were very classic. You know what? After my father's death, I've realized that, oh my goodness, I want Henry alive because that was my father's name as well. Even though I thought I should kill that name. So now I'm living in this place of Henry and Kaswap. You know what I mean? And it's, you know, and it's complex, it's not simple, but I think that's our story. That's why we need people like Mutinta to help us all process our multiple ways we view ourselves.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, that's my year: death, disease, divorce. And for those that are going through divorce, I'd say to you, it's not easy, but there is hope. You know, for me, I'm learning that sweet spot is a daily process, but I'm getting there. Because my children even look at me and say, "Dad, we love who you are. You know, you're cool. You're like,
hey,
you're
man.
You know, you're chill. Look at my hair, sexy. You know, he's back. You know." I was lost. I was lost in an institution, not in a person.
You see, I'll tell you this. One thing, and I even made reference, I think, on this show, in my conversations with Henry, or is it Kasonde?
Junior.
You see, okay, Junior, in my conversations with Junior, and I said it on this show, I said, you see, there's one thing you've taught me, Henry, is to learn to be transparent. You see, I'm not a person who's very open. I will tell you things unless you are very close to me. And I said that I compartmentalize stuff. It's very difficult for anybody to know what I'm dealing with or what I'm going through unless you really are close to me. I'm just like this. I won't show you that I'm happy, I'm sad, or what. I'll just be like this. You see, that's why one of the things I realize, my relationship with my Creator has done a lot of work on me. You see, because of that personality type, I grew up an angry child. And what I was very good at is throwing stuff. You know, when I say throwing stuff, you know what I mean by that? Pour some away. When you start to me, the only thing I knew to do is to pick stones and throw them at you. And I even used to do it to my grandmother and my mother.
Wow.
So, you see, Henry helped me in my conversations with him about transparency and opening up. When you talk about something, even Mutinta said this, it's like you release it. Now, one other thing I want to talk about, like Henry, you've said, how we question our culture and tradition. I just had this, what do you call it? The Pentecostals will say this revelation, but I don't want to say that. You know that the only time you question your culture is when somebody from outside that culture questions it. The so-called missionaries came and told us ingoma shesu shilalete ngulu. Where did that come from?
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You see, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's my brother, who's Lovale. Okay, I was trying to understand this thing, Fiakumukanda and all that stuff. Think about this, Matilda, and everybody listening to me. Bakamutanda balenda pantambotef. You remember?
Yes.
Chipo, and then he's walking on a rope. So everybody looks at that and says he's only able to do that because Bulo Shale Womfiobuanga. Now listen to the next thing I'm going to say. But if a Westerner, Clotilda, Stella, you're listening to me. Umusungu abule ntambo abika across the Niagara Falls aenda at Ariba skilled. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Kamtanda tava skilled, ale wonfio buloshi. Clotilda, talk to me. Kamtanda ale wonfio buloshi. Umusungu ariba skilled. Okay.
You know, Vanathan, you say that, right? Think of our folklore stories. Most of our young people don't even know the folklore stories. There are people in my generation, some may know, some don't. But yeah, years, generations before me. But Ngatwatamba, I like watching and reading a lot of European history and things that are related to and you'd look at it then and now, and they'll tell you about this folklore of an Irish folklore or Scottish nani Flofine, Nangubaba, Japan, Bashani. If you've ever watched anything that's Japanese, they have very strange mystical beliefs, those guys, really strange. But they're accepted. They'll make a movie, they'll make a cartoon, they'll tell you about it, and it's nice. And then if we to asa Jimika Shikalomeka Dionso, Nango Maikalange stories, it's evil.
She says that my favorite. She says such tonton.
Priska, I don't understand it as well.
Yeah, sorry.
This is the older generation. We're having a generational split.
Whatever.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I've heard of Michael Ange, but what's the story?
What? Oh, she says such tonton.
You haven't heard of Michael Ange who made a deal? Michael Ange's mother made a deal with a ghost.
No.
Michael Ange tumwana chiwatu amulya.
I can tell the story in 30 seconds because I know that story very well. Michael Ange's mother was pregnant. I went to the forest to get Inani Inkuni, and all her friends left her and she couldn't get them on her head. Then a ghost came and said, I will help you in exchange for when you give birth, you give me your child. And she's like, okay, no problem. But you can get my child after I've spent some time with him and so on. And they made a deal. She got the firewood, went home, had the baby. But she trained her child to protect himself against these tricks that the ghost will come and do. And the ghost said, okay, it's time, pay up. And Michael Ange went and, it's boiled. I don't know if we want to go there. Someone might start praying for us. But Michael Ange was pretty much, his mother taught him to be able to trick the ghost into not eating him.
Nice.
I'll call you, tell you the details.
Yes, ma'am. What does that say? So next year, Pastor Nathan on Zambian Blog Talk Radio, you'll be introducing this culture, tradition. Could you have a segment for that?
The culture, tradition.
Story time.
Michael Ange.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I like that.
A lot of us that don't know that, especially that Dr. Msoma said, home is home. We love home. A lot of us missed out. I feel like I missed out a lot on my Zambian part. That's why I've just planted myself in the Zambian community and stuff. I totally abandoned my South Africans. But a lot of us like stories like this. I don't know. We don't understand. So it would be nice for us to learn on Zambian Blog Talk Radio.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. Somebody watching there, listening, you want to do Mirum Benenshimi, you are free to do so.
Yeah.
That would be a good segment. Okay, let's read some comments from our friends watching. Stella says, yes, I agree with Matilda. It's not even the government and the citizens of Zambia themselves. A change of mindset is needed. She also says, yes, Pastor, nothing is free. No free stuff. No free stuff. Okay? And Nyirenda Mumba says, no free freebies in any categories, even hair or makeup. So, Vane, when your friend helps you, asks you, does your hair or your makeup, just say, oh, thank you, Stella. Here's $20 for gas. Okay, let's learn to do that. It's Bonasle says it's sad that ukubosha has become part of our culture, to say the least. If one has noted, what's that word?
Washad.
Oh.
If one has not washed, then they don't.
Oh
get
my
the
goodness,
service.
where did you get that word from? One has not washed, then they don't get the services they are entitled to. Very disheartening. I agree with you. Yeah, very disheartening. And my sister says, "Wu pente." Yeah, that's very true. And we are listening. You are right. Stella, the missionaries came with various beliefs because they wanted to control and divide us. And Taonga says, indeed, it would be a good segment. I personally would love to keep deep cultural stories. I think let's do that. If anybody is interested in doing anything to do with what has been said about our cultural stories, please feel free to get in touch with me and we shall go from there. Okay, we are going to end on a political note.
But Nathan, before you do that, I just want to comment. I wanted to touch on the Komboka event you've invited us to. I want to commend the people that are putting this together. They're doing something, I think it's a first, that that I believe needs to be supported. Some of us, even if we lived in Zambia, we would never have gone to Western Province to see the Komboka ceremony, you know. And there are some who are here who are not able to travel home. I don't know if we're going to have the whole Komboka itself, but just to have an aspect of it, I think this is very, very encouraging. I'm excited for the Lozi people, their cousins and their friends. I mean, you know, like the tribal connections that we have, like you say, these are your tribal cousins and your tribal brothers and sisters and stuff like that. So everybody who's involved, I think this is good. I hope other Zambian cultures or traditions will want to do something similar. Personally, I'll be there. So yeah, see you in Dallas.
In April. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay, I want us to end on a political note. We are Zambians. We can't run away from politics. Politics is part of our life. I'm wondering what to do first here. Okay, let's go. Let me play this video and then we'll comment.
Anxiety written all over their faces, and the body language is that of helplessness. What they thought was their safe passage was their death trap last night. The earth collapsed at Chingola's Sensele open pit Cop A mine, leaving about 30 illegal miners trapped. And under this waterlogged area is just one of the 3 spots where some miners are believed to be trapped. Efforts to rescue the trapped miners have been escalated, with rescue teams from KCM already on the ground.
To be buried in 3 places, here, there, and there. So it's actually feared that possibly there are 10 people in here.
Okay, that's enough. Everybody knows this story about Sensele mine. Even the commentator who was making that report says illegal miners. This is what I want to say, okay? And I'm probably going to upset a lot of people. That is not a mine. I grew up on the Copper Belt. There were areas and a mining area where when they do the mining, they will go and dump the copper ore residue at a certain place and it piled up. Part of it is what you call Black Mountain. I think in Kitwe and Mufulira, they have those high Black Mountain stuff. Please, that's not a mine. There was a fence around those things and it was written restricted area. When we were kids and we went there, we got in trouble. I know what the problem is. The people are trying to make ends meet or make a living. That doesn't justify them going into a dangerous environment and put their lives at risk and do what they are doing. That is not a mine. Hear me. I know what that place is. I grew up on the mine and I know what it is. Black Mountain, they do mining there. What do you call them? Jerabo and all that. Do you know what that is reflecting on our nation? The law has broken down. That's lawlessness. That's what it is. And I know I have got the information and details of how those things started. But you see, here's the problem. Immediately you begin to sound the way I am sounding, you are labeled belonging to a certain political party. Number two, you hate PF. And we start, why don't we just at times look at things for what they are and face the situation and say, Vane, this thing needs to come to a stop. I really don't even care what you label me. Let me just tell you that up front.
Good.
Kale na piteo place yaku chitawari about what people think about me. Kale na piteo place.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I do not, I'm trying to be very polite and diplomatic here. That is not a mine. It's very sad that those young people died because they are trying to make ends meet. And I don't know whether I have that video where the minister announced that they are going to block off that area and there will be no mining going on. That is not a mine. Henry, you grew up on the Copper Belt, you know what I'm talking about. You guys who grew up on the Copper Belt, those were restricted areas. Qualina fence, upon a sign, restricted area, where you had the mine police patrolling with dogs. If they saw you, you were in trouble. I got in trouble many times because I jumped the fence and went to play. And the guy points at me and says, immediately mentions your last name. You're in trouble. I know what I'm talking about. I did it. Okay? Please, that's not a mine. All right? Go ahead, Priska.
I don't know if it's ignorance. Yes, Ninsala. But at what point do we say, I'm risking my life? Are you really ready to risk it all? At what point do you say, you know what, let me find something else. Let me ask for help, start a kantemba, or do this and do this. And first of all, you're not even protected. You're just going in as you are, no protective gear, no boots, no the helmet thing that they wear. And then you attend Mwasanga Kopa, Mwala Kana, and then what? Can we think of something else? We should not always, what is this?
Yeah, that's them. That's them. Is that, you see, you're talking about protective gear. You see the way they go in?
Yeah.
Is that mining, honestly?
No. So they need to shut it down. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't care what they do if they're going to arrest everybody. They just need to shut it down. This is not it. We can do better. Go ahead, Matilda.
You know, for me, I don't even know how my views reflect political wise, but that's not where I'm coming from. I'm looking at how if people are going to these, Nathan, I think, is it safe for me to call it a dump site?
Like, it's a copper or dumpster. That's what it is. So let's call it what it is. Chimono, you see, what do you say? It's a dumpster. Right.
So if abantu baleya nombo kuchishala emo baleya mkulafwa into as a means to support themselves, then there's something wrong with the system, and that system has been broken for a very, very long time. We are always asking, especially for our diaspora, what is almost every government person will say, whenever the diaspora bring investors, foreign investors. And I think it's been a mandate, letting abantu to come in, foreigners. So people are coming in and they're mining and they're doing what they can. But maybe it's that wealth is not being
distributed.
Zambians have an extra benefit as much. You know, we are picking up scraps, and people started panono going in and doing that, going in, and before you know it, they are no longer afraid of that sign that says beware. They're no longer afraid of that.
The wire fence is not there anymore. They put it down.
Yeah. So those things are very concerning. And when it comes to safety and also rescue, I'm trying to think. I know there were measures being taken to rescue them. Do we have Copper Belt to just visit or to see how things happen in my mines? In cases like that, if it was actual miners in an actual mine, is there a place is there a facility or a procedure that they could have used? You know, I'm thinking about Kuperu, Kudia, where miners were trapped, somewhere again in South America, in different places where people have been trapped in mountains and somewhere deep. Foreign aid comes in, or the country itself provides these things. Do we have those things, or was there a that will help only so much, Panto? There's the illegal aspect of it, or we don't just have the resources, you know?
That's a good point.
But I think wealth has to be dispersed. We know. I mean, Copper Belt should feel, I'm not agreeing with what they are doing, but there should be a system to where even the people in the Copper Belt are able to feel that there's a benefit for them from the mines. So I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. No, so my dad was head of training for that mine in Chingola before he retired. The protocols are pretty impressive that they have in place when it's actually a legal mine. You know, there's a lot of protocols like in they can still possibly locate that vehicle.
Yeah.
And everybody parked in reverse. You know, those protocols in place. But the point here that is being made is it's an illegal operation, no matter how we look at it. In fact, the week that my situation happened, I was in Chingola. I'm actually not in Chingola right now, but it still says Chingola here. And I made a Facebook Live post where I said, I find it even disturbing that the ministers are even coming to this place to speak, you know, and because it almost felt like we're legitimizing illegality, you know. I'm a technocrat, I'm a PhD, you know, but the problem is that in Zambia, we're living in such populist sentiment kind of environment that politicians have to quick respond to things that don't have to, you know. And so having said that, if you don't mind, I'd like to read the reflection I had for the year, if that's okay. So my last minute reflection on the state of affairs in my beloved homeland are these. It was beautiful to hear the president sing Kalombo Mwane yesterday in the morning as Zambia celebrated 32 years of being a Christian nation. I struggle with the declaration of Christian nation for Zambia because I believe God saves individuals, not nations. You know, that the relationship with God is personal. You know, I struggle with that, even though I do believe as a believer myself, but I struggle with the true meaning behind that. I feel like we weaponized our faith, when we did that. So as a Zambian, I celebrate the level of civility obtaining on the ground. The Populist Front had us all living in fear of thugs. And the Populist Front, pun intended, I'm talking about the Patriotic Front. And I'll say why I said we lived in fear. I remember once being in Luanshya when the Populist Front thugs drove in. ACL signs everywhere. They took over downtown. You couldn't even get into ShopRite. You couldn't park anywhere. Honking, loud noise everywhere. I remember that. It was pandemonium downtown Luanshya. There was no honoring of traffic laws. They held the country in their hands. There was total fear in the country. So today I celebrate the civility. The fact that these people are even still able to speak is something to celebrate. Then I also said, I remember attending a worship service by Ruben, the young man, the Zambian worship singer, he was singing at UCZ. Then a politician came, gave envelopes of donation to the church, unashamedly, publicly. And I saw this with my own eyes. So we may not be faring well economically as a country right now. Who is around the world? The world is at war. Global economics are not working well for everybody. So this is not just a local problem we have in Zambia, it's a global phenomenon. So you know what I mean? To say that, that our government has failed is kind of unfair. We haven't given them a chance enough, given what's going on around the world. So then I said Zambians should celebrate the fact that we're big enough to have voted beyond tribal lines. We lived in a country where people would say Tonga would never rule. And for me, I celebrate the fact that we have a Tonga president, not because I'm a tribalist, I'm actually Demba. But
yeah.
Right? And then lastly, I said, One Zambia, One Nation should truly be our song, our theme, for sure. We should not be bamboozled by power hungry. Please listen to these words I wrote. I said, we should not be bamboozled by power hungry, visionless, ear tickling, populist, faith pimping, spineless, unaccountable leadership. We are better than this, whether it comes from UPND, PF, MMD. We should hold people accountable like what we're saying here. But enough of being bamboozled by people who are so populist, I think the only reason why the politicians responded the way they did, that was an illegal thing. We should have just had, in fact, has anybody been arrested? Who's Sensele? Has he or she been arrested? Because they should be, what I mean? But you don't hear that conversation. But Nathan, that's my thoughts about our homeland. It's a beautiful place. Yes, we're poor, but we're beautiful people. And Priska, what you experienced, I was just there. When I was at the hospital with my father, what do people see? They see wellness, Matilda, when they ask you. You can see wellness on somebody. So hospital, what I mean?
That's genuine. That's genuine.
So genuine. And I think most of our relatives are living like that, Krista. Sad to say. A lot of our relatives are living like that. So I think those of us in the diaspora, we need to humble ourselves a little bit and ask ourselves the question. What kind of hopes would I have for that person or expectations?
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Musoma. The other thing also is, can we stop looking to foreigners as for investment? If we need to take investment to Zambia. That's why I have said we need to be pushing and promoting personal businesses. Okay, you telling me Stella and Atampa company kuno, Atampa feka business akanono. Once we rally behind her, we start supporting her and not trying to get that service from Stella for free, but we support her. Then she translates that to Zambia. You've created employment. Even if you are employing 5 people, you've created employment. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Mamnyendwa says Zambians have not been benefiting from the official mining industries in Zambia. For example, Grizzly Mines produces the best emeralds in Zambia. Where is the money for emeralds going? Who's benefiting from these resources? Zambian emeralds is the best in the world. Yes, it is. That's a question we should ask. And before I read the Pastor Alan's comment here, after my conversation with Jem Wamba next weekend about the book he has written, Crash of the Buffalo, please search for the book on Amazon and buy a copy, Crash of the Buffalo. My next conversation on the 13th, I've put a panel of people together. We are going to talk about, are these presidential summits benefiting the citizens? You know, the presidential summits I'm talking about, Matilda. African presidents go to China for a presidential summit. They came to America with Biden for a presidential summit. And there was another presidential summit in Saudi Arabia, of all places. Are these things translating into things that are helping the nationals? Why are we like this? The other question Alan says that must be asked is, who is buying those minerals that are coming from those illegal mines? Someone is buying them and someone is exporting. Surely we must be able to track all the minerals that are coming out of Zambia and their source, because of there's no one to buy them. No one is going to illegally mine them. That's exactly the point. I think it's Henry who said somebody needs to be arrested, or some people needs to be arrested. Okay, I want to play the second item that I want us to deal with here. Let's go to the second item. I told you I'm going to annoy some people here, the things I'm bringing up. So if you want to drop and not be part of it, this is the time to do it. I'm joking. Okay, Zambia, let's watch this.
It's just my request, my humble request, on behalf of the youths. We just want you to release us. Just to release us, whatever happened in the stadium on that day, whatever you have said. We just want you to say a word that releases whatever the Lord will tell you. Maybe just a simple prayer over the youths and over the Zambians. We need the mercies of God. We need the mercies of God for all the abuse and all the things that we've been throwing at you. We ask by the mercies of God. If the Lord is leading you, you can go ahead. If not, we'll still give time for you to pray about it. But it's my humble request. The mic is here. Just to declare a release that it may be well with us. That it may be well with us. Our blessings are tied to you. Our prosperity are tied to the honor we give you. Honor your parents. Honor your father and mother. That it may be well with you. So we'll ask you, sir, if you can just to turn and face the people. Let's just give him the microphone and just speak a word. Is it okay, sir?
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to be composed. This is not about the person speaking. And for everybody watching, I've got nothing against the Sinyangwe. Okay, let's make that clear. These are some of the things that, okay, my point here and my question is, where did we get the notion that you see what we have done in Zambia? We've put our presidents, whether in office or former, we've put them at that place. Where did you get that notion that the blessing is tied to the former president? Release us. Wow. I'm saying to myself, like I said, I compartmentalize things. I've been processing this. I try to reach out to my fellow clergy. Hello, tuleki omwenso ba Zambian pastor, tuleki omwenso. Wala. Dr. Nyendwa, Kennedy, my friend in South Africa, tuleki omwenso ba clergy. Bamasuwa, Kambo, tuleki omwenso ba clergy. Let's call it what it is. Where did we get that notion, Matilda, that a former president holds the blessing of the people? Which Bible are you reading?
So, but Nathan, remember when I earlier in the segment I spoke about how I'm usually very interested in this history, European history, Western civilization, stuff like that, theology. I'll throw in the theology in there now. There was that period right after the 80s, after the ascension, I think in the 1000s and all that, when they started looking at, okay, the priests, the pastors are the mouthpiece of God, right? And that went on for a while. And then I'm kings and all that. And then this priest would speak a blessing over the king. But then over a while, the king was like, if I'm chosen by God, mouthpiece. And then I think there was a struggle, I think, if it wasn't the French or the English, one of those kings were having a problem with their churches, because who had the more power? Is it the church, or is it the kingdoms, the kings who were over there, these kingdoms? So there'll be power struggles. Nankwe king alala that mouthpiece. Lesa ne one sala. In fact, ingana landa is like newo lesa ne ulelanda. Now kuleba pope nangwa priests, they'll claim the same thing. And there's a lot, those who know the history, you know the history well. But just to sum it up, you know, the Church of England, they were formed partly because of that. They wanted to be separated from the politics that were going on in the Catholic Church and the power struggles, and then kunokwaba separation of church and state and so on. But I think in our African countries, we still have a lot of that. I don't know if it's related to that history or if it's something that's Katrishife. And it's getting to a point where we are applying Christianity or spirituality on certain aspects, but we don't apply it on other things. And then there's also the abuse of knowing the word of God or manipulating it. It's not written anywhere. It's not in the Bible. Even those guys, when I saw the Apple, it wasn't, and people didn't know how to read then. You can stand in front of the pulpit, open the Bible, and say whatever you want to say. In fact, you may even just open a dictionary. They don't know because they couldn't read. Here we are in a time and age where we can read for ourselves, we can understand for ourselves, we can have an actual relationship with God, on one-on-one, but we still rely heavily on what this person is saying, and then they kind of empower you to say you can go ahead and do this, but where is the biblical evidence? Yeah. I'm
rambling sana because
my point, Sanyangwe stood there and said HH will never be the president, right? That was his prophecy. HH is the president today. He's still standing on the pulpit and still talk. Did we forget about that prophecy? It did not come to pass. And he's still standing there prophesying and still saying things. And I rest my case right there. We need to do away with all these. Another thing in Zambia, we need to do away with all these papa this, worshiping people that we're not supposed to be worshiping. What happened to preaching
God?
They don't even use the Bible anymore. They just preach prosperity. You will get married. You will travel. You will get this. What happened to just talking about God in the Bible?
There you go.
And enough with the prophecies. And the worst part is the people that are victims to these are people that really don't have. They think if I go to a prophet and they give me a prophecy, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to travel, I'm going to have money. Hence, they're getting money from relatives and friends and say, I need to give to the Papa so the Papa can give me a prophecy. God is there. We need to go back to the basics.
When we were growing up, when I was young, my pastor said to me, If it's not in the Bible, it's trash. That's what the pastor said to me. And I've never forgotten those words. If it's not in the scriptures, it's trash.
Yeah. They don't preach salvation.
It's simply put that way.
They don't preach salvation anymore. It's all about prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. Who gives you that right?
Let's end this with Dr. Musoma's comments on this.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm not a UPND Carter, nor am I a praise singer. I'm a person who's madly in love with this beautiful country that we call Zambia, right? And I think even at the point of the UPND tenure coming to pass in Abapita, you know what I mean? Because the Bible is very clear when it says the truth shall set us free. You know what I mean? Truth in all its forms, Bamatu. They're not just truth pantiaf no Bible. My families, I'm a secrets. Especially to know that truth each step is set free kind of draft normal Bible. Right. So for my country, I'm hoping for the truth that sets us free. You know what I mean? Let's not be so spiritual that we're of no earthly good. You know what I'm saying? So when we encounter things that just don't make sense, let's just call it out. You know, like people going to a pastor and paying 500 kwacha for a blessing in Matero. You know what I mean? You know, it's just ridiculous. So, you know, what I'd say is, I'd quote Whitney Houston, which is strange, but I'll quote Whitney Houston when Whitney Houston said, "Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all." You know, I pray that as a people, all of us individually, but Nathan, I've stopped praying Our Father when I pray in the morning. My Father, let's learn to love ourselves enough so we could have some love left to give others, and then maybe even love our country enough that we even stop doing the simple, silly things that we do, like throwing trash everywhere. You know what I mean? My father always used to say, last thing, Nathan, since when I was in Zambia, I went to my father's grave. And Matilda, my father is buried in Luansha in the council graveyard. And when I got to my father's grave, we just buried him 5 months ago. What was on top of my father's grave was trash. Plastic, and all that stuff. And I just saw my dad in there going, you know, and so our poverty doesn't commit us to pathetic dirtiness, you know. So, and it all starts with loving ourselves. You know, let's love ourselves enough that we take care of ourselves and others. But Nathan, I also wanted to salute you for your efforts. You know, you've been so consistent with what you do. You're selfless with what you do. You know, so for that, I applaud you. And I pray that this platform in 2024 just explodes with truth. The truth that sets us truly free once if you. Not today, share if you have. Thanks and hashtag.
Trust me, that's where we are headed. Thank you for that, Henry. It means a lot. I greatly appreciate that. And one of my favorite people here says, I call her Dr. T. She says, the whole concept of my spiritual father, Papa, is super problematic for me. Can't wrap my head around it. Those are some of the things I'll be dealing with next year.
Yeah.
Trust me. I'm starting a new podcast alongside ZBTR called Read It For Yourself.
Yes. Congratulations. It's about time.
So, ndemi eva kofe tamwansole next year Clotilde tamwansole. Read It For Yourself. That's the name of the podcast. I'll be bringing my pastor friends and we'll be talking about these things. The first subject is going to be, what does the Bible say about money? Okay? I'm a seed. Seed. Do you know that the Bible doesn't refer to money anywhere in the Bible as a seed? Nowhere. I challenge you to show me that in scripture. Nowhere does the Bible say seed about money. Watch out, I'm coming. Finally, this is our final point, okay? There is one of the things that this president has done well, in my opinion, is repealing that law called defamation of the president. I am so glad he repealed that, because there's no such a thing as defaming. A public person should be criticized. There's another law that needs to be repealed. Okay? Benefits. What's the law? What's the thing? Where's my thing? When you withdraw, Lungu's benefits were withdrawn because something to do with our law, him not retiring from public. What do they say?
Active politics.
Active politics. First of all, grammatically, does that even make sense? Active politics. How does a politician retire from active politics? How? When a politician, let's say a former president, leaves office, he should be given his benefits for serving as former president. That thing of saying the person should retire from politics, it doesn't hold water. It doesn't. That's what the person knows to do. That's who the person is. Okay? I worked for state insurance. I took early retirement. I took the package. When I leave, and whatever I do after that is none of state insurance's business. Shouldn't it be the same? Once if we retire and have left where we were working, why is it different for former presidents? Maybe I'm not reasoning right. Help me out here. It doesn't make sense to say you need to retire from active politics. How? Don't we see when Obama campaigning for their candidates in their parties here? You cannot say that. It doesn't make sense. So, Honorable Vakateka Vesu, that also needs to be repealed, okay? With all the issues we have with President Lungu and all that stuff, this is not about Lungu. For me, I don't agree with that. You can't ask a person to retire from active politics. He's no longer in office, so give them their benefits and let them do whatever they want to do. Don't tie it to, you are trying, I don't know.
You made a point when you said we see when Obama campaigning for other people.
Mm-hmm.
But is Lungu campaigning for other people or campaigning for him to come back?
Okay, that's a good one. I like that.
But what about Trump? Is campaigning to come back. What's the position? I don't know. Did he get his
that's a good one.
Retirement package then? Has it been revoked in Shishive? Nali absent.
With that one, that we should know so then it will be revoked, right?
Okay, let's say Takuli Idi Ashidia Kubakaka. But he's no longer president, but he wants to come back. What's the situation there with him? Does he still get his presidential salary?
Matilda, I think one of the reasons why I think about Nathan's point is extremely valid is a president is somebody who's seen state secrets, somebody who's very aware of the very intimate details of a country. That is why every former president in the United States is even given state security, because they're actually an asset, no matter what. So by taking away benefits, you might potentially make that ex-president vulnerable financially. And if they're vulnerable financially, then they might compromise what they know. So I think keeping them well taken care of protects the national assets, I think, and so it's a nice conversation for us to have, to say, we should talk about posa fepanse or to allow to protect. It's like in Zambia, judges get a very hefty retirement because we don't want them to go into the public service and work in the public sector because, what they know after being judges. So that's kind of a protection there. I think the president deserves that as well, in line with what Nathan is saying.
Right, and I'm in agreement with that. I was just trying to see if, like, to show that Nakunot has continued, like the example you gave where Obama has been campaigning for others, as to Priska's point, but he's campaigning for others. Isn't he doing it for himself? And he's still, he's not doing it for himself, but he's still getting his presidential benefits.
Yes, yes.
So I was trying to apply the same thought process to Trump. Like, I'm sure he is still getting his benefits and even trying to come back. It wasn't taken
and
away.
To your point, Matilda, you see, even I like what Alan is saying here. Trump still enjoys Secret Service.
Right.
He's got all these things, court cases he's attending. He goes with the Secret Service to court. The problem is our politics. We personalize them. Okay? If you have personal issues that panic, please, by all means, I'm not talking about it's a general concept. What I'm trying to say is our country needs to reflect and reconsider this law, because I like the point you are making, Dr. Musoma, about a former president being a national asset. That's a very profound way of looking at it, because you see, and we should value. It doesn't matter, look at all these issues following Trump. Whatever cases that you want to bring against Balungu, bring them, take him to court and do what you need to do. By the way, the other thing that we also need to do is remove that immunity thing. In my opinion, it's just also another useless thing. What do you mean immunity from what?
I love it.
You can tell Lelombo Kilenolo. So,
2023 happy.
So anyway, I'm just giving you a preview that watch me, I'm coming in style in 2024.
You're not playing with us.
No, I'm not going to play games anymore. Naka, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Anyway, next year is a special year for me as well. I won't say why. I'll just leave it like that. I'm just so it's going to be.
You're turning 40.
Yeah, the Bible says 40 plus 20. So
that's a good one.
So look, so I'm gonna come with another angle, another way, and that's how it is going to be. So all right. So anyway, I think what we might have to do, like Dr. Musoma suggested, is I need to have just another segment on this issue of what do you call it? The fair constitution, my presidents, stuff like that. Okay. I'm sure you can all see this. That's the title of the book, Crash of the Buffalo, Jay Mwamba. That's my topic next Saturday. Jay is coming here. We're going to be talking about that. The book is out. I'm reading it right now. It's a long time, actually, I read the book. It's good. I'm reading. I'm back to reading. Everybody get that copy of the book. It's a good read. A lot of details, history. I'm reading this book, Dr. Musoma. I'm saying to myself, wow, I thought I knew a lot about Zambian soccer history. This is good information. You'll be informed, you'll be educated. And so next week, I'm having a conversation with Jay. We're going to be talking about that book. And then on the 13th, after Jay, I'm going to have a panel of people be talking about, do these presidential summits, are they benefiting the people? China bakolongana, America cause bakolongana, Saudi Arabia cause bakolongana. Come on, guys.
But Nathan, talking about books, I I'd like to be held accountable to this. I'm starting a book club for men, and we'll be meeting at my house once a month.
Okay.
And the first book we're going to read is Think Like a Man by Steve Harvey.
Oh.
And, so just that whole idea of how Steve Harvey was encouraging women to think like a man, but we'll talk about it from a man perspective, that book. So any person, I'll send out the date. It is, we could eat together or however we plan it, but any male in the Dallas area who wants to come and just talk about that, is welcome. But I'll send that information later on Facebook.
Excellent. Excellent.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, when we come back next week, a lot of things may look a bit different here, a little bit different. We start the new year, rebranding, is that the word? And if you want to start the show, get in touch and we shall set you up. I like that one about, culture, folk stories and stuff like that. Let's do that. Let's try to get into these things and all that kind of stuff and everything. And I just want to say Happy New Year. Happy and productive 2024. Yeah, let's end with that. Thank you, Estela. Everybody, we appreciate you being part of this production. We are going into our Matilda 16th year in 2024. 16 years of ZBTR. And I always like to say, like Nelly says, there's no self-made person. There's no self-made person. This didn't happen because Nathan and Roger, Matilda, Yareka, Titus are brilliant people. We did it as a community. The Zambian diaspora community has done this ZBTR. That's the way I look at it. And the only reason we are able to be here every morning is because you wake up with us and we do this together, whether you watch a recorded podcast or and please, let's grow the numbers. Help us to grow the number on Facebook. It's Zambia Blog Talk Radio, and YouTube, it's ZBTR TV. So I'm going to ask my distinguished, powerful, these are powerful women and this young man. I can say young man, because next year I'll be 420. Bazambi. So I'll start with you, Matilda. What are your New Year message to everybody watching?
So my New Year message, which I'll also make a video on and share, is be the best version of yourself. I want to end 2023 in gratitude. Every November I do a 30 days of gratitude. I failed miserably this year. I struggled because I was blindsided. This year I was able to be on a platform with Black Excellence CMA, Black Americans. They invited me to be on their stage in a fashion show. We did very well by OZA. We had a wonderful, successful OZA Independence, which I'm so glad to have been a part of. I mean, Independence celebration hosted by OZA in Chicago. And there are so many things. I had highs, I had lows, I had depression that sometimes were very dark and scary. But like you said, transparency. If we don't talk about these things, who's going to talk about them? We did a show by Nathan. I talked about fibroids and all that stuff. It brought awareness in the community, and all those things I'm grateful. But even in the dark moments, there's a lot that I grew from, a lot that I can pull from, and I say, moving into the next year is to deal with these things head on. There are tough situations. There'll be good and bad times, but in every situation, I'm challenging myself, and I'd like to challenge you who are listening to be the best version of yourself. If you're a friend, be the best friend that you'd like to be. How would you like if you want, the way we hold our friends, that you taba if are you that and that and that to that person or to other people? Mentally, physically, emotionally, just be the best version of yourself that you can be. happy 2024 and be safe end of 2023.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Who's gonna go next? Piki now, Piki Toro.
Come so much.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
11, 12.
Yeah, I will exactly what Matilda said. I'll just add on, be the best version of yourself. I'm on a self-discovery journey, self-love journey. Another thing that I want to leave you with is let's learn how to pay it forward. Be humble, be kind, and learn to be respectful of others. Treat people the way you would like to be treated. Find a hobby, something that makes you happy in 2024 that you can do. And just challenge yourself. So for me, I want to be the best person that I can be a good friend. And I want to leave those that don't have a purpose in my life behind. I don't want to explain anything to anybody why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm on a self-discovery journey and love. And let's be intentional, be mindful of things that we do. So happy 2024, everybody. And God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Priska. All right. Bashinganga Wesu.
To add to what Priska said, treat others the way they want to be treated. Because I think sometimes, when we treat others the way we want to be treated, we don't expose ourselves to the other person's feelings, because we become the center of that person's world. So, adding to you, treat people the way they want to be treated. Then mine is my hashtag Kakulwa. Hashtag Kakulwa. Live, lead, and love from a place of freedom. Live, lead, and love from a place of freedom. And that's it.
Excellent. If you've got any challenges that you're facing, that's a website down there. That's our family therapist. That's what we are calling her, Mutinta. That's our website there. And get in touch with her. The things that we do when we get engaged in community activities, like you said, Matilda, at the beginning, that you're involved in a lot of things in the community. What's the word? We don't do it. The success is not personal, or it's not by ourselves. Those of us who are married, it takes our spouse to believe in what we are doing and to be supportive. And the reason I say that is I think we need to give a big shout out to Rodney Lucas, Matilda's husband. Matilda, you're so engaged in the community, and I know Rodney is with you all the way there. And my three guests here, these are three people whom I have long phone conversations with. And every time I speak to Matilda, Rodney is there. I can hear him in the background. And hey, Nathan is saying hello. I just want to say I do not take that for granted. Okay, it speaks volumes about him not being insecure. I want to say the same thing to Priska. Like everybody has said, listening here, not judgmental. You always listen to what we have to say. Very insightful. People don't realize how deep and depth Priska's wisdom is. And I want to say I appreciate you. And I also want to say, like I've said about Rodney, I appreciate Vincent so much that he lets you to be who you have to be.
Okay.
And the only thing I have against Vincent is him overfeeding me when we were in Chicago.
He says, "Bazanga tatwa kwata shokulanda by." So it's it takes 3 hours.
3 hours. That's who we are. So I'm just basically trying to say we need to appreciate the spouses of the people that are behind either the men, like what I do, my wife, Rodney, Vincent, We applaud you, Vincent, my brother. I mean, we don't take this for granted. It means a lot. Priska and I talk a lot, and we talk about a lot of things, and I appreciate you. I just want you to know that I don't take it for granted. Henry, whom I'm about to marry off very soon.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Trust me, only I can, only Papa can say that and get away with it. I mean, the things, look, and it's very important for me to say this, because communication, learning and building each other can never be a one-way traffic. There are so many things that Henry has helped me understand. And he has the hashtag Kakulwa, that has worked for me as well. I'm like, okay, I need to learn to be, you know, like he's saying, to lead from the can you say that again? I didn't write it. I need to
lead from a place of freedom. Live, lead, and love from a place of freedom.
Lead, love,
live, and lead, and live.
And live from a place of freedom. That is so powerful. I just want you to know that I appreciate you. I don't take my relationship with you for granted. We do talk about a lot of things. You have shared things with me, which, without exaggeration, I would say you only say to a person that you really trust so much. I almost feel like you've handed your life into my hands. That's the way I feel. And I do not take that lightly. Everybody, thank you for being part of this. I do appreciate your support through the years. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 16th year. It's not an easy road. Once, if I were to mention names here, it will be another segment of 2 hours. I just want you to know that I appreciate you tuning in, commenting, your love and your support through the years. It means a lot. Have a happy new year. Be yourself. Don't let anybody manipulate the money you have worked for so hard and tell you that if you give it to them, it will multiply. Money only multiplies when you invest it, not by giving it to somebody. Sorry for blowing that, your little theology, but just get ready. Like one of my spiritual mentors said to me, 2024, watch out. I'm coming in style. I'll see you next week when I speak to Jay Mwamba on the book that he has written. Crash
everyone.
Of the Buffalo. Happy New Year. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. We didn't mean to ruffle your feathers or do anything. We're just wrapping up the year. Bye, everybody.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.